see how big it is. It's like big, like a big pillow that's gonna like go into your mouth. So you can kind of see the filling peeking out at you and saying, "Hello, eat me." Hi, welcome to Yvonne Meets Food, where I share my passions for making food, eating food, as well as traveling the world to discover and eat even more delicious food. Today we are in Melbourne, Australia, where Chris and I are spending the Christmas season with his family and his friends. So we're currently sitting in Chinatown, which is right in this heart of Melbourne in the Central Business District, or as we call the CBD. And we've gotten dumplings from one of my all-time favorite dumpling places on earth. And the place is called ShanDong Mama. So ShanDong is a province in China, which is super famous for seafood as well as for amazing dumplings. And ShanDong Mama started, I think, about 7 years ago, and I discovered it just by doing a quick Chinese restaurant search in the Melbourne area. They're very, very well known as a mother and daughter team for their incredibly delicious and juicy handmade dumplings as well as noodles. They have endless delicious dishes on their menu that range from dumplings to noodles, stir fries, rice dishes. But to me, the ultimate highlight are most definitely the dumplings. There's actually one dumpling that they are particularly famous for, and that is their Spanish mackerel dumplings. So unlike the usual dumpling that you're probably used to, which will have prawn or will have some sort of meat, which could be pork, chicken, lamb, these dumplings are made of Spanish mackerel, which are hand mixed to a point where they're mixed so much that they basically have taken on a moussey consistency. So it's super light, it's very airy. It's basically like you're eating a mousse, but it's actually made out of fish. It's just so light and airy. The dumpling skins are super thin. They're also handmade in-house, and altogether the combination, once they are boiled, is probably one of the most memorable dumplings I've ever had in my life. Second favorite dumpling that I have at ShanDong Mama is always the Melbourne dumpling. So the mother and wife team immigrated here from China, and they really wanted to get more into local culture, local cuisine. And so the Melbourne dumpling is kind of a culmination of everything that they love about Shandong, as well as everything that they love about Melbourne and the vibrancy of the city. So it's a mix of chicken as well as mussels. I think there's also prawn in it, a few different herbs and vegetables that are also mixed into it. And then they are encased in a thin dumpling skin. These ones specifically are pan fried. The dumplings are actually open, so you can see the meat or the protein filling on both sides kind of peeping out. So now we're gonna try together my very, very favorite dumpling in all of Melbourne, if not in the world, which is the Spanish mackerel dumpling. You can see it's really, really big. It's very pillowy. So one order typically comes with 10 dumplings. They're very, very large. So just see how big it is. It's like big, like a big pillow that's gonna like go into your mouth. And here goes. So good. It's really, really soft and airy and moussey, like I said earlier, so it's exactly as I remember it because I have it pretty much every year that I come to Melbourne. They're big hunks of garlic chives that are in here. You can even see some of the chopped up minced ginger, but all of the flavors really come together really, really nicely. And then even the dumpling skin is super thin and super airy as well. Just like a big pillow that you're just like putting into your mouth. So now we're gonna try the Melbourne dumpling. So like I said earlier, as you can see, it's open on both sides. So you can kind of see the filling peeking out at you and saying, "Hello, eat me." And I will certainly do that. And then on top of that, they are pan fried, so they're nicely golden brown on the bottom. And then on the top, they've been steamed, so they're nice and kind of silky and soft. Okay, so here goes Melbourne dumpling. This is really good. chickeny flavor really comes out. And I think there's also garlic chives in this as well, and other types of like really finely minced vegetables. You can taste the garlic flavor really coming out. And then the bottom is nice and crunchy because it's been pan fried. And it's a nice kind of complement to how soft the top part is from being steamed. Look at how gooey and moussey it is on the inside. It's like fish mousse. That's so solid. It's basically like one piece. If you like dig your finger into it, it barely even comes off. Like honestly, before, 6 or 7 years ago when I discovered ShanDong Mama, I didn't even realize that there are parts of China or really anywhere in the world that had used fish in dumplings as a filling. So it just kind of goes to show that the more you travel, the more you're exposed to different types of food, even in countries of origin, or what you consider your country of origin, because fish dumplings, like the discovery of this fish dumpling has really changed my life. And then subsequently, I've met someone who's actually from Shandong, and she told me how fish dumplings are her family's staple. Every time she goes back to Shandong to visit her family, she craves these dumplings. It's like the first thing on her mind, and her mouth is already watering on the plane going back. Here goes another one of the Melbourne Dumplings. So I know you may not be able to see this on the camera, but these are super juicy. When I took a bite into it, it was almost like juice just squirted into my mouth. It's almost like there were like little nuggets of soup in here. So while we were waiting for our takeaway from ShanDong Mama and our order to be ready, we were wandering around outside the Mid-City Arcade where they're located, and I happily found out that Happy Lemon is actually located right outside the arcade, so it's super convenient. So Happy Lemon is a chain of bubble tea and lemon tea that is really popular. I think that they originated either in China or in Taiwan, but they are most famous for their lemon tea, which is why they're called Happy Lemon. And the second thing that they're really famous for is their salted cheese milk tea. And I know that sounds a little bit strange. You're like, why would I want salted cheese in my milk tea or in any tea for that matter? It's not necessarily a cheese that you would think about in the sense of French cheese or Swiss cheese. It's more cheese in that there's going to be this nice thick layer of heavy cream that is on the top. It's really thick, it's really frothy and almost like whipped and moussey-like. And then there's a little bit of salty because of this rocky salt that's used. And actually, it's a funny complement to the sweetness of the tea that you end up ordering. So there are two different ways that people typically will drink this. You'll either leave the top cream layer separated from the bottom of the tea, and then just sip it through the straw so that the elements kind of remain separate from each other, but you're still enjoying that saltiness as well as the complement of the sweetness. Or they'll just mix both elements up so that the cream is fully incorporated like a true milk tea. So this one that we got, it is a black tea with salted cheese on the top. And then as an added bonus, I also got a little bit of lychee jelly just to kind of mix things up. So I'm gonna leave them separated in the beginning so I can describe to you what it tastes like, and then we'll incorporate it just a little so you'll have kind of an understanding of how they're different depending on how you want to try them. So here goes, first sip, separated, not mixing it up. Cheers. So that was really yummy. So it's definitely very sweet. I actually got 70% sweetness and less ice. At Happy Lemon and most bubble tea places today, no matter where you are, you're able to specify the level of sweetness as well as the level of ice. So I typically get 50% sugar or less, and then I always get less ice because I want as much tea and as much bubbles and goodness as I can get. So the flavors that really come out at me, it's very sweet, of course. It's sweet, but not too sweet. But the sweetness definitely comes out. The tea, which I got, it's black tea, so it's oolong tea. It's definitely very strong. And then on top of that, at the very end of each sip, I get a hint of that saltiness because of the creaminess of the salted cheese on the top. And because I got the lychee jelly, that's actually the last taste in my mouth because there's tons of lychee jelly on the bottom, which this big straw is able to pick up. The other thing, because I didn't mix the cheese as well as the tea together, you can get the very distinct flavor of the tea this way, and also the very distinct flavor of the cheese. So I've just mixed up the salted cheese on the top with the tea, just to give you a sense of what this is gonna taste like if you were to mix it. So I've done a little bit of mixing, lick my straw to get some of that nice salty cream on the top. I really, really love that flavor. Yummy. Okay, taste test, second time. This is like salted cream milk tea, where the milk is actually that nice thick heavy cream, and then it's got that little bit of saltiness at the end of each sip. Got too excited. So I'd say that if you're debating whether you want to keep the layers separate or if you want to combine them, if you really want to have a strong defined tea flavor and a strong defined salted cheese or salted cream flavor, definitely don't mix it up. If you don't care about that and you just want a nice creamy milk tea with just a hint of saltiness, definitely mix it up. I'm actually really enjoying the mixed part of this now. It just feels very creamy, very light, very refreshing, especially since it's a little bit warm today. So I'm really happy that we got this Happy Lemon. Definitely kind of rounded out our meal of dumplings today. I really would highly recommend that if you are in Melbourne and you're looking for delicious food in the CBD or in Chinatown, in the city, that you definitely consider stopping by ShanDong Mama. It's definitely a little bit easy to miss. You're not gonna pass by it walking along the streets. You're gonna have to seek it out by finding this mid-city arcade, which is in kind of like in the Chinatown CBD area. It actually has a lot of other nice Asian eateries that are in the arcade, so definitely keep your eye out for other delicious eats. It will definitely be life-changing if you've never had a fish dumpling. If you think it sounds weird, you're like, oh, fish moves, it's kind of strange, definitely give this the benefit of the doubt. I guarantee you that you're going to be surprised and impressed. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear what your favorite dumpling shop is in your part of the world. And I also hope that you will subscribe for more food, more travel, more eating as I travel more, eat more, and learn more about all the delicious food that's out there. So thanks again for watching.